The Wednesday week is sponsored by the Riverside Cafe, new outside bar now open on match days.
There's a chance here, a great save. A turner from McClare. A terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Wednesday week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. I'm Lord Hillsborough, and with me on the line, first of all, we have Victoria, my darling. How the devil are you?
I actually was just going, Mr. Marriott, to myself then. I wasn't expecting me. I feel like I need to thank my mum, my dad, everyone who sits around me on the North Stand, the Cop End, James.
If Carlos can change his formation, so can we, my darling.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And second on the line, we have Mr. Fudge. Hello there, Fudge. You're being on the W.
What you saying? I'm so down with the kids. That was like an Eddie intro, wasn't it? Where Eddie in his late 90s reggae tracks. I feel like I've brought a street flavour to it. Oh, there was another guy who did the podcast before you started, James.
Yeah, I remember him,
I miss Eddie's 90s tracks.
Yeah.
He just suddenly stopped doing them, didn't he? To like prove a point. Like,
Yeah.
that's why we don't let him on anymore.
He'd been doing them so long, he just run out of 90s songs to do. Bless him.
You can never run out of 90s songs to do.
And last but by certainly no means least, Mr. Marriott. Jamesy, how being how the devil are you?
Well, the thing is, right, you always used to come to me first, but now, you did it once, and now you never come to me first. And I'm not saying that it's upsetting me or anything, but I'm not really sure if I can carry on doing this.
Yeah, it didn't upset him at all that he had to bring it up.
I was last. I mean, this is a lot for a guy to take in the space of a few weeks. I'm very well.
Nice to hear. Right then, ladies and gents, so let's crack straight on the show because we've got one or two bits and bobs to go through this evening. And although it seems like a while ago now, we are going to have a little bit of a chat about the Barnsley affair, aren't we, boys and girls? Because this had some, I would say, mixed signals, shall we say.
First of all, can we just cover the fact that, well, two things about Sam Winnall. One being that the song for him, which came out of nowhere, is brilliant and very catchy. And 2 days last week, I fell asleep.
Sing the song.
It's you remember Here Come the Hot Stepper from the 90s? The na 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 Sammy Winnall.
And
it just goes
brilliant.
on and on and on, and you can imagine what it was like after he
scored. Can you hear the Sam Winnall song? And I was like, I don't know what it is. So now I know.
Definitely, after he scored, it was deafening. So, firstly, the song's really good. Secondly, what an arrogant sod he is. Like, I don't. You guys probably wouldn't have seen this, but like at the end of the game, he went and applauded all three sides of Barnsley fans as they booed and threw random things at him, and he did almost like a lap of honour of the ground. Like, he is an arse. I love it.
You would so do that, though, wouldn't you? I would totally do that. Not to Wednesday, because I'm Wednesday. Like, I'm born Wednesday, but he's not born Barnsley. He don't give a shit. I would, if I got sacked off by Portsmouth, I'd go and poo in every corner of the ground. That's what I'd do.
Again, you got told last time, Victoria.
He's basically like Chris Maguire, but better.
Chris Maguire is the Derby County Reserve.
Chris Maguire used to be good at winding people up, didn't he? He used to wind up opposition fans. Sam Winnall took it to an entirely new level on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, he did. He still needs a shave. But there was whisperings on Twitter, wasn't there, about him not being the most popular of players around the club when he was there. You know what I mean? But yeah, and on the back of Chris Maguire, while we're talking about it, he can get in the bin. Everybody's going, oh, look how great he is. Look at this, another free kick. He should never have left Wednesday. He shouldn't have signed in the first place, the fat Derby County Reserve.
Fudge, I've not seen anyone say that.
Say those two words, James.
Have you not seen it? I'm going to find them now.
I've not. You said this last week. You said exactly the same thing last week about him. And I've honestly not seen a single person tweet about Chris Maguire for about 4 years. I think it's in your head. I think you've got some kind of like secret obsession with Chris Maguire. You can't let go.
Whatever you do, James, do not try to get into Fudge's head. It's a dark, scary place. You don't want to be there.
It's like a Salvador Dali.
Everywhere you turn, there's just a peacock. And then a Rita Johnson.
But no, obviously back to the game, shall we say? Mr. Winnall's, the celebration was incredible, wasn't it? Absolutely amazing. We've all seen it where people score against the clubs and respect the clubs and all that, but there was none of that nonsense from Mr. Winnall, was there? He scored and he went absolutely chuffing potty. He actually ran away from the Wednesday fans who were at the goal that he scored and went off to let the Barnsley fans know how happy he was.
I think, to be fair, he had just had like a 2-foot pig thrown at him a few minutes before. That was actually, they're probably 40, 50 quid a piece, those pepper pigs. So high five to whoever did that. It was probably Mr. Chansiri just to mix it up a bit because they are expensive pigs. I know, my niece is into them. But,
it was Dole Day in Barnsley. Everybody was mixed up.
Dole Day. 2 weeks' work, buy a pig. There we go. But yeah, fair play to him. I'd have done that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And pulled it out of my sock.
But it's not just that. Obviously there was the celebration and everything that went along with it, but we've seen him celebrate passionately the first time he scored, didn't he? He was very, very happy he scored. But obviously we know the story with Win on Barnsley and the Barnsley fans be giving pelters, and fair play to him for doing it. And anybody that doesn't like it, well, stuff them. It's as simple as that, really. A couple of other things from the Barnsley game, of course. To be fair, the actual game itself was a bit tense, wasn't it, to say the least? Barnsley came out swinging as we expected them to. The Barnsley fans were baying as we expected them to. And the game itself, it did take a little while to settle down properly, didn't it?
I thought the first half, not a lot really happened. It was. There were a couple of moments in the first half, and I think we kind of came into life the last kind of 5-10 minutes of the first half. Before that, we didn't really do very much. It's not like Barnsley were kind of knocking on the door or anything either. It's the second half where that game kind of burst into life. And you know what? The second half was a good game of football. It was kind of end-to-end, each team kind of having their spell. Obviously, we went ahead. Then we thought we'd scored again, but it was offside. We had a couple of chances. The inevitable sucker punch comes 3 minutes into injury time. Then it looks like Barnsley are going to win it. It was the second half was a proper game of kind of like local derby football.
And it has been said, had it not been for Mr. Fox, because that clearance off the line was incredible. Westy pulled off a brilliant save as well, which was absolutely amazing, as per usual. I know it's sort of a broken record that we say that more or less every chuffing podcast now, but it's getting to the point with Westy now where I've just run out of superlatives for him. He's just such an important part of this team, isn't he? He really, really is.
You almost kind of take it for granted, don't you? It's like, Westwood just pulls off another great save, and it was a superb save, and it it absolutely kept us in the game. So credit to him. I think the Morgan Fox header on the line is borderline superhuman, because the more I watched that, because it wasn't like a curled shot, he wellied that. How he managed to get to it, I've just got no idea. I thought that was superb. That was brilliant.
I think it was bloody rubbish, the whole affair.
Of course you did.
No, I tell you what it was. I think it's been indicative of Sheffield Wednesday's season, this specific game. I think it's one of those where we start slow and then we get a goal and then we Stuart Gray it out. I don't know where this has come from with the team, or whether it's Carlos's tactics or whatever, but it seems to me that we did it against Rotherham and we'll get there. But, we're in front. Now we'll sit back on this one now. Let's Stuart Gray this out, which is why, if I remember rightly, Beastie stopped doing this show, because he just had enough of this type of football. And we're not clinical enough at all. We're not very good at absolutely smashing the ball home. And we had a hatful of chances against Reading. We had a hatful against Barnsley. We had a hatful against Bristol City, and we're just not putting them away. It's painful to watch sometimes. However, it was nice that Sammy Winnall got a goal. I was chuffed for him. But my biggest gripe, and I know we're going to get there, and I know we're going to speak about it, is why is nobody getting to the byline and whipping crosses in for Jordan Rhodes?
We'll get to that point in just a second or two, but it has to be said...
Like Angel Delight, Fudge, that's what it is. Right? If I give you a bottle...
we do have to give some credit to Barnes, I suppose, for giving a good game. I thought Himmel was brilliant. I thought that young Kent lad, he was quite good as well. I wouldn't be adverse to Mr. Chansiri popping his hand in his pocket for Himmel. I thought he had a brilliant game. Caused us some real problems, didn't he?
I can't remember who was he.
Seriously, had you had drinky again before the game?
James went to the Sheffield tap.
I was really concentrated on trying to spot who played well for us, which, by the way, was Adam Reach. Adam Reach had probably the best game that he's ever had for us on Saturday. He was top notch, and actually, I thought he did get to the byline. He did whip a few crosses in. I thought he played really well.
Absolutely. But after all that loveliness, then we came on to the Rotherham affair, and we were all a little bit shocked at the lineup, weren't we, boys and girls? Well, 4-3-3. That was rather unexpected, wasn't it?
It's almost like we wanted to win, isn't it? Isn't it? When you see a lineup like that, you think, bloody hell, he wants to win this.
Not just that he wanted to win,
we've got
he wanted
no
to destroy them.
We've got no bugger for midfield, so why not just stick 3 of them in there? We've got 10 strikers, 20 strikers, 30 strikers. Shove them all up front. Bob's your uncle. There you go. Done.
I saw a brilliant tweet from someone that said, all these Wednesday fans surprised at Carlos playing 4-3-3. He did write an entire book on how to play 4-3-3, which apparently is true. He did write a book based around how to play 4-3-3 effectively. So, it's probably not that big a surprise in hindsight that he opted for this formation.
Yeah, but that's not
conceded
really
88 goals this season, so if you're going to do it against anyone, you do it against Rotherham.
Yeah, it's not really a trophy, is it? Writing a book. I could write a book on playing 4-3-3.
You couldn't write a book.
But
You know what I
people
mean?
bought it.
It
It sold
It'd be
copies. I
horrible.
think that's probably the difference between Carlos's book on 4-3-3 and
You could write a book and sell it to Mummy Fudge and Daddy Fudge and Baby
Well, this
Fudge,
is it.
and
I
that is
could- I
it.
could write a
And maybe
book on,
Mrs.
you know,
Fudge. She wouldn't even buy it.
book on complaining at post officers. I'd be really good at that. I could write a book. Your stomach kicking in and needing to crimp one off at really inopportune times. I could write a book on pissing on your grey trousers just before a big job interview. I'd be mint at it. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean I'm the gospel. Do you know what I mean?
and I can't get you to write a bloody blog for the website, but you'll write a book on pissing on your grey trousers before going for a job interview.
Yeah, I did.
Would that include a chapter regarding the new hand dryers? You can't actually aim anywhere now, can you? You have to the new Dyson hand dryers. You have to put things into them. You can't aim them anywhere.
You have to climb inside it.
Victoria, you don't understand.
It depends on how lucky you are, Lord Hillsborough, because some people could just slop it right in there.
No, what I did, I was going for a big job
Fudge,
interview, and I had a grey suit on, and it was cold. So you know what happens to a gentleman's bits when it gets cold? You know, things start to
You wet yourself.
contract a little bit. So what that was,
Is that what happened?
no. Hang on. Lips moving, still talking. I was.
No, you've just told us you wet yourself. There's no going back.
No, it gets worse. Shut the fuck up for 5 minutes. So I'm sat down, and you know the bit between the porcelain and the seat, yeah.
I want to tell everyone I've pissed myself. Shut up, Victoria. I want to tell everyone.
No, I pissed on myself. Is where I'm going. This is what I did. So the bit between the porcelain and the toilet seat, everything had gone cold. So, my bits were facing straight out, as it were, given the seated position I was. So what I'd done, I managed to hit that sweet spot in between the seat and the porcelain, and I had a grey suit on. So yeah, it just ended up. It just went everywhere. You know what I mean? When it caught the edge of it, and honestly, it looked like it just ran through a sprinkler in the summertime.
You see,
hang on.
every chap knows what he's speaking about. Every lady has no idea.
Yeah, just covered in piss. Sat there.
I can't figure out how we've gone from the pros and cons of 4-3-3 to a story about you pissing yourself. How did that happen?
Because I'm writing books on it. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
But is it me? Right, so let's go back to bring this back full circle. The game against Rotherham I thought was pretty piss poor. Bear in mind, like you said, they've conceded 1 million goals this season. They've been pretty bloody terrible. And it was a potential banana skin, which is what we discussed last time. And we did the job. We went out, we beat them. But does anybody else think that it could have been a bit more comprehensive? It could have been a bit more showbiz?
No.
It could have been 10-0? Or are we just happy with the 3 points?
I disagree with that, and I disagree with it on a number of points. One is that we said last week, and you just acknowledged this, that it was the potential banana skin. and they were going to raise their game. The pressure was off them. They'd been relegated on Saturday, which we knew there was a fair chance was going to happen. So they could go out and play without any fear. To be fair, actually, they were still a bit rubbish. In fact, they were very rubbish. But for us, it didn't matter. It was I described it as a functional win. It was 3 points. It didn't matter whether or not we won 10-0 or 2-0. The danger, if we'd have gone out there and really stuffed them and put 5 or 6 past them, is that then fans' expectations ahead of the game on Saturday against Newcastle get to fever pitch again, which is what happened when we beat Norwich 5-1. That was like, oh, we're back on for automatic promotion. And we all came back down to earth with a hell of a thump after that, didn't we? So I think the fact that it felt like a bit of an ugly win is actually in our favour. I think it just keeps everyone's feet a little bit grounded and just makes us think, right, it's now about grinding out results for the rest of this season, getting the points that we need to finish in the playoffs. That's what we've got to do now for the next 6 games. And so going out and sticking 5 or 6 past them, yeah, it would have helped in terms of goal difference against versus Fulham and whatnot. But I think it was probably the ideal result in that regard.
James, do you know what, right? I think I love you to pieces and you're my favourite person ever. But I think that every night I could do with you just popping round for 10 minutes just before I go to sleep and just talking me into myself and just telling me to stop worrying about certain things and whatever, because you've just nailed that, like completely nailed that. And actually, I've been like whooshing off this week saying we could have won that 5-0. But actually, no, you're completely right, James. I agree with you. And you haven't talked about pissing on yourself.
Look at you. Why don't you just run off and do your own podcast together? Hey.
Like Ed Sinclair upset. I don't disagree with James, right? Don't get me wrong. It was a functional win. But let's not, disguise the fact that the first one was offside and the second one was a foul. You know what I mean? We should have been peppering shots in that goal all day. Do you know what I mean? We absolutely
are we at the stage of the season where we need to psychoanalyse games like Rotherham away? It was a derby match. It was a Tuesday night. We'd both played on the Saturday. We were playing a different formation. We got a couple of players who'd only just come back from injury. It doesn't matter. What matters is we got 3 points. And there's nothing else that we need to analyse about that. We'll not play another Rotherham for the rest of this season. We had to go there and get 3 points. And we did.
Okay, I agree with that. However, surely we can agree that the biggest talking point of the entire game was that the day after they gave the man the job on a full-time basis. That was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I've got to admit, right, if I turned up to work every day and produced the shit that he did, I wouldn't have a job. Like, how's he landed a job out of that? And don't forget as well, it's not
anybody else, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's not like just landing a job at HSBC or wherever. Like, you land a job on a deal that you are guaranteed most of that money, whatever happens. You are guaranteed.
If I went to Meadowhall
next week,
and started working like that.
Exactly, right? And if you went and you just like smash a lot up or whatever, you would still be guaranteed a massive percentage of your money. How has he got that job? How? Why?
That's a question. That's a question for the Rotherham podcast. Yeah. Once they've figured out, how to use computers and electricity
got internet and
got into web, then the Rotherham podcast can answer that question for us.
I love the way we're talking about it like it's really backwater. It's literally a mile away from Sheffield. Oh, by the way, which does bring me on to the best thing I saw, which was thanks for making the 16-mile round trip. Those little posters they put at the away end. That was wonderful. That was a lovely touch. It's not like away at Brighton or Plymouth, but But I like the way they still bothered.
I don't know whether or not...
like a mail merge, isn't it, from their marketing department that's gone, right, every match this season, we've seen Newcastle doing it, we've seen a few people do it, let's start putting up a poster saying thank you for making the mile round trip. And some little junior in their marketing department has gone, sir, are you sure we should be putting this up? They've only made 16 miles. It's going, yeah, stick it up. Put Carlos on looking really cool. Be fine. Be right. Just stick it up. Stick it up.
The actual best bit of the game, and I don't know whether or not you got this on the TV or not, but the guy that does the stadium announcing at the New York Stadium is actually a mate of mine called James, who I used to work with. And he, halfway through the second half, or I think it was probably about 15 minutes before the end of the game or something, Rotherham were making a substitution, and he gets on the mic and he goes, substitution for Sheffield Wednesday. Rotherham. And all the Wednesday fans burst out laughing and started singing "You're Getting Sacked in the Morning," which I found very amusing, and texted him. I was like, "You've got the Wednesday fans singing about you." But then the funny thing was that Paul Warne went on TV afterwards in an interview and said, "Well, despite the fact that the Wednesday fans sang "You're Getting Sacked in the Morning," I don't know whether or not I've got the job." And you're like, "They weren't singing to you, you prick. Singing to the stadium announcer."
We did hear that. We heard that, but we presumed it was at Paul.
No, it was at James, who's the stadium announcer.
Yeah. Dear Paul Warne, get over yourself. You're already relegated. You know what I mean? There's no point sacking you. There is literally no point. Nobody wants it, fam.
If I may interject with my two best bits of the game, the first one was the Rotherham fans singing "Sheffield United are coming for you," which was hilarious. Are they having some kind of loving Rotherham and United?
I didn't hear that. Did they actually do that?
They've been one for 20
When was that?
years, haven't they? It's embarrassing.
During the game, James, the Rotherham fans were singing "Sheffield United are coming for you."
They forget them buckets, my lord, don't they? They forget them buckets. We saved that club. Saved it.
Yeah, with 200 quid worth of pennies. Yeah, we saved it.
Well,
all down to us.
And if I may say, the other best bit of the game was Mr. Fletcher's header, because that was an amazing finish. It really, really was. Obviously, we've been discussing balls in the box, etc., etc. The ball came in from Mr. Hunt, who has received a lot of stick this season.
Hang on. Hang on. I'm going to take umbrage here, Lord H. I tell you for why. Jack Hunt just slapped that ball. There was no thought to it, and it was down to Fletcher to get his head to it. He used the defender as a crutch. Let's rewind this goal.
Oh,
I want you to really think.
What's wrong with you tonight? Have you got PMT? What's wrong with you?
He's had his grumpy pills.
Come on, Fudge.
There was an absolutely fabulous ball played to the byline. I think it was from Bannon. And Jack Hunt was nowhere to be seen, and he's gone. And you see him go, "Oh, Christ, that's for me, that." Run on it and just towed one over. And then Fletcher's got
If he hadn't, you'd be kicking off somewhat rotten for him not getting a
He weren't going to.
He delivered a cross and we scored a goal off it. Like, what is there to criticise about that?
He could turn up. You could be dying. He could turn up and give you mouth to mouth, and you complain he'd not stuck enough tongue in. You are ridiculous, Daniel Fudge.
Jack Hunt didn't realise that somebody had played in the ball, and the only reason we got that ball is because he was half a second or a full 2 seconds behind what was going off. And I think we were fortunate to have that goal allowed and scored in the first place.
But he did, and we scored. I don't get your point. Like, if it had been stood in the corner waiting for it, he probably wouldn't have delivered the cross that he did. You know, everything in football happens for a reason. We scored a goal, Fudge.
While we're
Yes,
here,
we
can I
scored
just
one goal.
mention?
Were you that guy that rang Radio Sheffield and said, "I'm not going to celebrate when Fernando Forestieri scores for the rest of the season now. He's dead to me. I'm going to sit in my seat and I'm going to sit on my hands and I'm not going to celebrate."
Does anyone remember when we played that playoff final at Cardiff? I don't think Steve McLean should have scored that penalty. That shouldn't have gone in.
It was in
Damn Fudge.
What were we bringing him on for? That was gambling. He was lucky that paid off, silly sod.
But it did. It did pay off.
Paul Sturrock. He was on the beers then, wasn't he? Silly sod. This is pre-goatee beard and all. Christ. No, listen. I think what it is, I think we were fortunate to have had scored that goal and have had it allowed.
But the point is, it was scored. Yes, the cross could have been better, but it didn't need to be, because the head from Fletcher was a brilliant head. That was so...
Stop press, Scottish man headbutt something.
But...
Wowee. That's like stop press, female cold. Come on.
Can we just mute
it?
him?
Was such a difficult header. It was such a difficult head to make because it was slightly behind him. He had slightly over the ball.
So what he did, he used the man to help himself up in the air, and the referee has gone, "No, that's allowed. That's fine," and then just totted it in. And he may as well have been stood on his bloody shoulders.
I think Fudge has taken a bribe from the Teddy Chucker Society for this evening, haven't you, Fudgy? But no, at the end of the day, it was 3 points. There was a wonderful, wonderful tweet on the Twitterage from Tartanel. I do have his proper name as well. Ross Brookfield, who quite simply put, how do we get there? I don't care. 3 points in the bag. On we go.
Here's a question. where would you find all of the following in one place? Chairs, tables, beer, Vic, James, more beer, Dick Yow, Eddie, more beer, and the rest of the Wednesday week gang. That's right, it's the Riverside Cafe's new outside bar. All of your favourite lagers, ciders, soft drinks and hand pump ales are now available outside. Come and see the gang and give it a try. The Riverside Cafe's new outside bar, now open on match days.
Right then, ladies and gents, let's crack on then, shall we? And first things first, we've got a few little injury updates as well, haven't we, boys and girls? Some good news and some not so good news. Let's get rid of the not so good news first, shall we? Apparently, Mr. Abdi is out for the rest of the season. Is this not so good news, or because he was starting to come rather good, wasn't he?
He's a classy player, isn't he, James?
He is. I think the main reason it's disappointing is he did come into a little bit of form, and just as he kind of came into form and then picked up another injury, was around the time that Bannon seemed to hit a really bad patch. I mean, Bannon was awful against Barnsley, really bad against Barnsley. He played a bit better on Tuesday. We know we're going to play Bannon for the rest of the season now. We've got no option, so he is our only choice central midfielder, really. But the fact that we've not got that choice of Abdi as an alternative it's a bit of a gutter, isn't it? It is a bit of a shame. Maybe he needs it though, because he's been in and out all season, hasn't he? If there's a problem and he needs an operation, let's just get it done, and it'll be a bit like having an extra new signing for next season.
Yes, I agree. I agree with the whole thing. I think you're right about Bannon. I think he came in at the right time. I think he started to get a bit of run in the team. I feel for him that it's a little bit unfortunate that he's got the injury now. Now he's started to put the shirt on, and all of it. And you know, with Lewis McGugan wanting to snap at the heels of the centre midfield role, I couldn't even say it with a straight face. I couldn't even do it.
Well, there might be inklings of a certain midfield maestro returning to the squad, might they?
Yes, we heard that Kieran Lee might be coming back from injury, from his operation. I think I'm concerned that it's a little bit too soon, because he's had some serious surgery there. It's not like he's getting himself over a cold or he's got a bit of a bad back. He's coming back from surgery. I don't want, I'd hate for him to be rushed back and only be half the player he is, because personally, I think that he is a player that we've really, really missed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's certainly no doubt about that. And for this running, which we are going to need him for, it'd be lovely to have him back for it, wouldn't it, if he came back as the same player. But, I mean, he was playing a long time with this injury, wasn't he? So I think the whole point of him going in and getting sorted was to make sure it didn't get any worse. He's been sorted. Has he been to Thailand to meet the Chance Series special Thai people over there as well?
No, I went to go and look at some ladyboys, I heard.
Yeah, we've all done that, haven't we?
Didn't he go and see a witch doctor or something crazy?
Ladyboy.
Oh, ladyboy. Yeah, similar thing. Yeah.
Ladyboy doctor.
A ladyboy witch doctor.
Can I ask a question about the Kieran Lee injury? Because obviously we know that he's been out for, 3 months or something now. And we know that he'd been playing with it beforehand. Does anyone actually know what the injury is? Because I've not spoke to anyone that actually knows what the injury is. We've just been told, he's been carrying an injury.
Wasn't it like his knee or something? Didn't he really badly injure his knee?
Yeah, I think it was his knee, and he was having injections and things, wasn't he? So he could play, but it got to the point where if he carried on having injections and playing, it could be career-threatening, couldn't it?
Right. I heard it was his hip. I thought it was his hip.
It might be. We might just be talking rubbish.
I think I also heard that he'd stepped on a Lego, a proper dimpler, and that's where it went wrong.
I heard it was his groin from all those pornos that he's done.
I tell you what, this should be the hashtag on the back of this show, shouldn't it? You know what I mean? Kieran Lee injury update, and we'll just name body parts or various injuries and see what we can get going. Like, you know what I mean?
Can I just say, as a side note, I love how much he tweets Kieran Lee porn star and says,
just gonna say that.
I think this is for you.
I saw that one. It was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? That was funny. That was good.
He's got nothing better to do, has he, bless him? But no, it just goes to show that the passion in what Kieran Lee's playing with him. He's been playing with that injury for such a long time, and Bearing in mind as well, he's one of our longest running players now. He was with us back in Division 1, wasn't he?
I think he came that summer, didn't he? The summer we were promoted is the summer that we.
Yeah, he came in summer 2012.
Yeah, which, to be fair, you're right. It does make him one of our. He's up there with Liam Palmer and Semedo now, isn't he?
Jermaine Johnson.
Longest serving. Yeah, Jermaine Johnson's been here for 23 years, I think it is now, isn't it? That he's been.
Luke Bowden's coming up just behind.
He's still here in spirit.
If I'm dead honest, right, I don't think that we'll see Kieran Lee before the end of the season. I don't think that we'll rush him back, and I think that we need a little bit of stability between now and the end of the season. I also don't think that we'll see Hutch again before the end of this season. I've just got a feeling those two have got niggling injuries, and I don't think that we'll see them.
That is a beautiful segue into a point I was going to bring up. I was going to say by a show of hands, but given that we're doing this over the audio medium, it's a bit of a waste of time. But is anybody else bored of every single game Sammy Hutchinson going down clutching his leg?
No. Okay. We knew when we signed Sam Hutchinson that this was the deal. Yeah. We knew that, and we've always accepted it. Two things with Sam Hutchinson you have to accept. One is that he'll get sent off 3 times a season, and he'll get 2 more suspensions for bookings. And the other is that he will miss a third of the season with injuries. Let's be fair to him. He's played more games this season than any season in his whole career. So he's had a good season in terms of injuries. Yeah, we probably rushed him back a little bit too soon on Saturday against Barnsley. It probably was a mistake, but he'd had the best part of a month to get himself right. And unfortunately, it just he flings himself into challenges and he does what he does. He's Sam Hutchinson, and that's the way that he works.
So, okay, as a secondary question, then I think you answered that as the segue into it. Is it worth just giving him a bit of time out the squad, like from now to the end of the season and the summer, just to sort his life out a little bit? You know what I mean? Just get some surgery on his leg if he needs it. Take a bit of time to rest his leg. Pay some bills, sort out his council tax, get some washing done. Just sort his life out. You know what I mean?
I think that's all well and good, but I think Sam Hutchinson himself has said numerous times in the press that he needs football. He needs to be playing the game. He needs to be involved in it to keep his head straight.
So stop getting booked, fam. If you're still,
what I mean is to actually. I mean, to be involved in training, to be involved in the camaraderie, he needs that because he's had a difficult time off the pitch, and so I think keeping him involved in team stuff, in squad stuff, is really going to help him. I don't think sending him away like you would do with an Abdi or whatever else is going to do him any favours whatsoever, because I think he needs that support and he needs that team around him, like a lot of people do that struggle with mental illness. I think he's said that himself in interviews, that he needs to be a part of something.
It's not just that. He's good for the team as well, isn't he? He's part of the banter.
Well, yeah, but he has got lovely teeth as well. So,
Who would want to see that smiling face all day? Right, then. Any other injury bits and bobs?
Gary Hooper.
Well, we saw Hooper back. We saw Marco Matthias. He's alive. He lives.
It's Easter.
He even came on, and he ran around a bit and did some stuff.
Did he do stuff well, James?
Oh, you're asking the wrong fucking person, aren't you? I haven't got a clue. I don't really remember him doing anything. I've got to be honest.
But he did run around a lot.
I don't particularly remember him doing that either, but you would think he's been out injured for 4 years, so yeah, he must have run around a bit.
Well, it has to be said. I mean, he is. I've always seen him as sort of a luxury player, if you like, because he's always seemed a little bit fragile. He gets pushed off the ball a bit, but then you saw what happened with that goal against Leeds. We know the quality's there, so anything that's going to strengthen the squad is good news, isn't it? It really, really is.
Yeah, we need as close to a full squad as possible, don't we? Because this time of season we need options off the bench. We need to be able to change bits and bobs, and I'm sure we'll talk later on about the Newcastle game and what kind of approach we may or may not have to that game, and having good options off the bench is dead important.
Absolutely. Right, then, ladies and gents, let's crack on, shall we? Because one of the other wonderful things we do have to speak about is Carlos's most recent Carlosism that is popped out as well. Potatoes, fish, rice, fish not being able to be potatoes. Did anybody understand what the chuff Carlos was talking about?
Yes.
Did Carlos understand what he was talking about? Amazing.
For me, he was clearly a big fan of the 2003 show Bo Selector and was doing an impression of the character Trisha from there. And he was just about to say Borgle, rice and peas as well. But, one of the reporters cut him off. I don't know. I don't know what he was talking about. I have literally no idea where the analogy was going. Would anybody like to hazard a guess?
I haven't got a clue, but all I could think, and this is genuine, like when we saw like what was happening ready for Newcastle and who like we're going to come to, who may come back, who may not come back, whatever else, all I could think was all of the meat's on the fire. All of the meat's on the fire, boys. Come on. So it must be getting through at some point. This is making sense to me, and I don't understand how, but it's getting in there. It's getting in. So it's like, am I going to have potatoes? I'm going to have fish. Am I going to have rice? Am I going to put all of my meats on the fire? I don't care. I'm so on his level now. It's untrue.
Wouldn't it be funny if he was just hosting a barbecue for him and all the
if he is just Mary Berry.
And that's what he's doing. So what he's doing, he hasn't got the numbers of all these reporters and that. So what he does is subliminally stick messages in about what he's serving for his end of season barbecue, and that's what he's doing. Like, you know what I mean? I think next week we'll be talking drink options, and he'll probably break into song. What was that song?
Tequila? Is it a sambuca? I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Are we gonna have San Miguel? Are we gonna have lager? We're gonna have beer. We're gonna have wine. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, then he'll be talking about the entertainment, and he'll give out some Ian Holloway-esque response, like, sometimes you've got her, you're going to go home with a girl from the pub. She's not going to be the prettiest girl, but something about some narcissistic nonsense that he was talking about. There'll be something like that as well. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen.
I think I think that could work, because you could do something about. You can have. I can't do a Portuguese accent, so I'm not even going to try. You can have the finest bottle of wine. But if you don't have a corkscrew to take the cork out, then what use is it to you?
Oh, it's like Angel Delight, isn't it? Like Angel Delight and no spoon.
My theory on it, by the way, is just that. So I think Carlos is a bit of a daydreamer, and what happens is when he's cooking tea the night before, his mind wanders and he starts bringing the food that he's cooking to life, and starts imagining it being Sheffield Wednesday players. So when he starts talking about the fact that you can't replace fish with potato, I think in his head he just calls Kieran Lee fish. And
do you think he's doing
David Jones is a potato in his head?
Teaching the offside rule.
Do you know when your dad tries to teach you, like the offside rule when you're a kid, and he gets out the salt and the pepper and the ketchup, and he's like, now if the mayonnaise plays the ball forward and the ketchup is in front of the salt and the pepper, that is offside. Do you think that's what it is?
I wish I sat on the south stand so I could listen carefully. If halfway through the game he just starts shouting, Aubergine, right wing, then we know he actually just named all these players after various types of food.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just really crap at remembering names, so just thinks back to what he had for tea. You know what I mean? So he just sat there and says, "Oh, honey roasted potatoes, man."
Super noodles, get up front.
Super noodles.
Carlos doesn't strike me as a super noodle type of chap.
I bet he's come over here and gone, "Hey up, love, what the bloody hell's are they saying here?" He's Italian now, apparently, and he's gone, "Yeah, get me some of them, more chicken and mushroom flavour."
There's a great thread here about what types of food would the various different Sheffield Wednesday players be. I think Jordan Rhodes would be a marshmallow. Probably the pink one, not the white one.
Yeah.
I think Sam Winnell.
I don't know if he still plays for us anymore, but Papadopoulou, Scatman. Well, I reckon he's an aubergine.
Sam Winnell would be, where you go to a lobster restaurant and the lobster's still alive right up to the last moment when you eat it. It's kind of fighting and you're not fucking eating me. I'll fucking do you.
Brilliant. It has to be said, absolutely adore Carlos's quotes. Just keep him around forever, just for that. Stick him in the same room as Semedo and just keep him locked up. Every so often, just give him a mic to talk into. Brilliant. Absolutely love it.
Jose Semedo would be that last pea on your plate that you can't get on your fork. You just can't get it. It just bounces all over. It ends up in the living room, ends up upstairs. You just can't get hold of that pea.
She wants to pee.
Right then, ladies and gents, so let's crack on then, shall we? Now, a little bit of an update on the youths, actually. You know how much of a fan I am of
There we go.
But it has to be said, on on Monday, the 10th, which is, of course, as we're recording this on Friday the 7th, the Wednesday under-23 team play the Sheffield United under-23 team. Now, if the team win that game, they will win their league, which will be absolutely chuffing fantastic, wouldn't it? Now, I don't know how many of these chaps are actually local chaps, because we've been buying folks in and things, haven't we? So, but imagine that, playing United to win the league. Imagine if that was like the real team doing that. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
No, it wouldn't, would it? Because we'd all be in a right state right now, wouldn't we? If that was what it was coming to win the league. Oh, no, Lord H, just give it to the kids. Let the kids have it.
That's literally just giving me heart palpitations just thinking about it. I couldn't put myself through that.
Well, at the moment, the team are on 49 points at the top of the league. Closely followed by Charlton on 47. So if they get these 3 points, only 2 games left. One against United, one against Leeds. And the Wednesday game is at home at Hillsborough on the 10th. So you can go and watch this game, ladies and gents. So I'm sure if you want any more information about that, there will be there on the Wednesday website. So please do go ahead and have a little nosy on there.
I feel there's a better advert there, Lord H. You could have gone with. So if you want to watch son of Sheffield Wednesday legend George Hurst step out for the under-23s, supported by superstars such as Lewis McGugan. Then get yourself there. Programme's 5p. It's only a printed piece of A4.
Unfortunately, I am of an age where I can remember going to watch what back then was the reserves on an evening. It cost me 50 pence to get in. We just get the Supertram, who was very grown up back then. Absolutely fantastic. But no, the game will be available for everyone to go and watch at Hillsborough. So if you've got a spare Monday night, go ahead and watch. It should be an absolute corker on there for us. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, so last little bit of Wednesday news. There has unfortunately been some sad news in that Trevor Francis's wife, Helen, has unfortunately lost her battle with cancer and passed away this week. So I'm sure everybody would like to join me by passing our condolences on to the Francis family. Of course, got 2 sons as well. So awful news. There's various different videos and things. Obviously, we can all remember after the Sheffield United semi-final at Wembley, and Helen was on the pitch back then as well, and things like that. So awful news, and our thoughts are with the Francis family.
Whether you're celebrating a birthday, a wedding or anniversary, maybe you've passed your driving test, or you've landed a new job. Well, whatever your reason for a party, the Riverside Cafe is the perfect location on Catch Bar Lane overlooking Hillsborough Stadium. To inquire about hiring us for your function, call 07989 856 054 or 0114 232 6121.
Right then, ladies and gents, so let's crack on then, shall we? And have a little waffle about the upcoming Newcastle game. Newcastle game. That's what we're playing. Now, of course, we are a little bit late recording this week because of the various Tuesday night games and things. So you probably already watched the Newcastle game by the time you listen to this. Fingers crossed you haven't. But with our wonderful hindsight, how do we think this is going to go? Now, I've said it a million times on this podcast. Newcastle are going to come at us, aren't they? Which I think is good news for us because it creates space that we can play into, and we're not going to have any of this park in the bus nonsense like we have to break down. Do you guys agree, or are you a little bit worried that Newcastle are doing very, very well this season?
No. My issue, my lord, is that Newcastle are doing well. We are okay on a little bit of a peak at the moment, but namely and most importantly, we are on Sky. So let's be honest, it's all going to go to shit, isn't it? We need to win this, and they need to win this. So therefore, they're they're getting all the favours there, because when we need to win something, you might as well send me out there because you've got no chance. And it's on Sky. So
Are you after a Teddy Chuckers badge, Victoria?
I have no excitement at being there at 5:30 tomorrow afternoon. There's just nothing. There's just nothing. I have the excitement of going to Hillsborough that I always have, and I get that little twinkle, and I think, oh my God, Hillsborough. And but I don't know. I'm not confident, and I think we're being. I know we're going to come into it about the Fessy thing, but I think we're being led down the garden path with the Fessy thing. I think we're being led down the garden path with showing Kieran Lee in training thing, and I feel like I'm being used here. I feel like I'm being used, and I feel like tomorrow Carlos is not going to call me back after 7 o'clock, and I feel used about that. I do. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm about to be used.
I'm
still a bit of a slag, and I'll go away. But
just found out that your Twitter name is Dirt the Second or Walker's 1867, isn't it? Is it? Is that what's going on? No,
I don't know if they are, but
they're the Twitter bemoaners. I've started to get on their side. I don't know why. There's something going wrong there. But I agree with you actually, Vic. I think led up the garden path is an absolutely cracking way of putting it. I think there is this game has led us into a false sense of security. Bear in mind, we struggled to get a point against Barnsley. You know what I mean? Because we beat them at their ground, and I agree with you, Lord H. Don't get me wrong; they're going to come at us, and this is where it plays into our hands. Ask Norwich and ask Newcastle themselves. But are they going to be once bitten, twice as shy? I don't know. You know what I mean? I feel that Gale is going to cause us some problems tomorrow.
Why are you not enjoying going along for the ride? Like, we've just taken 4 points
I've been doing that for 30 years.
A difficult weekend of 2 local games, and we took 4 points from those 2 games. We're a point further ahead of Fulham than we were at the start of that weekend, even though everyone would probably tell you that it was a great weekend for them and a terrible weekend for us. We've narrowed the goal difference. We kept our first clean sheet in quite a while on Tuesday night. Granted, it was against Rotherham, but we were playing Rotherham. We either keep a clean sheet or we don't. We've got Stephen Fletcher.
That's what I'm thinking, though.
I don't get at the moment what there isn't to be excited about the game on Saturday.
I'm 100%, James. I'm 100% behind you for that, 100%. But you're using Rotherham stats for that, and I could beat Rotherham.
But they're the only stats that we've got because that's who we played on Tuesday night. It's not their fault that they played Rotherham on Tuesday night. They could only beat what was in front of them, and they did. And if you're going to be playing Newcastle, then you want to win the game that you've just played before it. It's like, I think it's unfair to say it was only Rotherham that we beat on Tuesday. We had no choice but to play Rotherham, but we beat them when we all acknowledged that it could have been a hell of a lot different going into that game. So, at the moment, I'm feeling positive again. I had my wobble a couple of weeks ago, and right now I'm feeling dead positive again, and I'm looking forward to us going out and playing Newcastle. I'm not saying that I think that we're definitely going to win, and I'm not saying that I think that we'll definitely lose. But you know what? I'm happy to be going along for the ride again right now. If we don't finish in the top 6, then we don't deserve to finish in the top 6. But you know what? I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm going to enjoy my football because that's why I go. And it's a 5:30 kickoff on Saturday, so I've got the advantage of the fact that I'll be even more smashed than normal. So it doesn't matter if we lose. I won't remember it. It's going to be a glorious sunny weekend. And we get to drink some beer and watch some great football, and it's on Sky, and we normally do turn it on when we're on Sky. So, why would you guys not be happy about what we've got coming up this weekend? I don't get what there is to be negative about it.
I'll tell you for why, because we have been unconvincing. Even when we've won, we haven't, with the exception of maybe Norwich and Newcastle, there's only been about 3 or 4 games all season where we've absolutely deserved to win, and we've really gone to town and we've played the football that we know we're capable of. I'd say we've been 6/7 out of 10 all season. Now, that's not bad. I mean, you're going to get the happy clappers on Twitter saying, look how far we've come, yada, yada, yada. And I get that, don't get me wrong. It's lovely. We have come a long way, but we spent 30 million bloody quid. And Newcastle have been convincing all season. They have smashed teams. They have looked absolutely magnificent. And them coming to our ground gives me the shits.
But I hear everything that you've just said, Fudge. But what I keep coming back to my head
you're
is...
not wearing your grey suit, Fudge.
I don't understand why that matters right now. With 6 games to go, why does that matter? Anyone that's going to
Because
the
there's
game
only
on
6 games
Saturday...
to go, and it's so
anyone that's going to the game on
tentative to get into
Saturday,
those playoffs.
what's the point in thinking, oh, we've not been particularly convincing this season? It's 6 games. All we've got to do for those 6 games is go along and support the team to the best extent that we can do. We've got to get right behind them. There's no point analysing performances at this time of the season. We've got 6 games. We probably need to win 4 of them to secure our playoff spot. So let's not get bogged down with performances. It doesn't matter anymore, right? At the end of the season, if we don't go up, or heaven forbid, if we don't finish in the top 6. That's the time that we'll start looking back and analysing performances. Right now is not the time to be doing it.
Oh, really? I can't. No, I'm not having it. So, for example, let's say we finish 6th. We got a 1-1 draw away at Leeds, and then we beat them 1-0 at Hillsborough. Then we managed to win the playoff final 1-0 in the Premier League. Now, the difference there is that we've eked in there. Now, if we're playing fast, free-flowing, beautiful football, it will get the fans right up. It will get our tails up, and we will get behind that team so much harder than what we would, because instead of spending the summer saying, well, Christ, we only just got in there. I hope Chansiri spends 70 million on a striker because, we're going to get his arse handed to us every week with this team. We're not. We're going to be going, we're capable of doing this. We can do it. And the fans are a massive part of this club, and they're a massive part of how we play on the pitch.
I agree with that. But I can't quite comprehend what you're saying. So you think that, let's say that, it's the 30th of May or whatever, when the playoff final is. It's earlier than that, isn't it? But it's whatever, 6:30, and the full-time whistle goes, and we've won promotion to the Premier League. You think the fans will celebrate less if we've just won 1-0 after drawing against Leeds and winning in the second leg, and that we'll spend the summer saying, "Oh, we only just sneaked in there"? I think that it doesn't matter in the slightest how you get into the Premier League. All that matters is that you get into the Premier League. The money that's been knocked about there, the parachute payments are about to triple this summer. All that matters is getting into the Premier League. How you get there doesn't matter. Kick the shit out of the opposition if you need to do it. Just get in the Premier League, because that is your club set up for the next 10 to 15 years. It is an absolute game changer. And how you get there, I don't think that it matters. Right? Maybe at the start of a season, when you're talking about what your club's going to be this season, it matters. Where we are right now with 6 games to go, I honestly don't. I just don't see why it's remotely important.
Listen. How we're going to get there, I don't know. How we're going to get there, I don't care. All I know is that Wednesday are on the way.
Nicely done.
But yes, Carlos has said we're going to have 4 sides of Hillsborough. Carlos has said we will have the big support from all the sides. Our fans can win the battle, and let's hope that they can do it on the pitch as well. Right.
But, my lord, will they have a certain nifty little Argentinian, whatever he is, man, to appear? We've not covered this yet. I mean, will he be back? Will he be there?
Fingers crossed.
That is the question.
I agree with you on this, Vic, and it's the first time I've heard anyone else that's had the same theory as me, which I reckon... You remember when we played Arsenal last season and Carlos did this big thing about how, well, I'm not going to risk the first teamers and blah, 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 and he was just spitting a yarn. I genuinely think that Fessi's probably got no chance of being fit for the game. And I hope that I'm horrendously wrong. And I think he's just trying to disrupt Newcastle's game plan, that they've got to account for the fact that they might be playing against Forestieri. So they can't make a definitive game plan until, 4:30 on Saturday afternoon when they see the team as to whether or not he's playing.
Because I think the thing is, like, any team that plays us plays for Forestieri, don't they? At the moment, that is what they aim their game around. They aim to get him sent off. They aim to get him booked. They aim to get him injured. That is their whole thing, or they aim to close him down. And if we're saying all the time, "Oh, he might be back," but as much as I don't think he will be, and I do think we have been led up the garden path, and I think we're all under a bit of an illusion. We've all got our blue-coloured spectacles on. I'm so glad I said spectacles then. But I feel like we've all been kind of told this, and we've seen the videos of him doing his lunges and things that no human could do, whether they were fully fit or not. The stuff he's been doing on Twitter, with balancing like a weight that weighs as much as me above one arm while he's like squatting on the other leg and whatever else. But every team sets their game plan around that. So are we? But in return, is Carlos doing himself an injustice in a way? Not like, let's not set you two off, but is he doing himself an injustice in the way of telling us that he might be back and then actually saying, "Oh no, actually I was lying, soz." Or is he doing the right thing?
Worked against Arsenal. It doesn't matter what we think. Doesn't matter what we think. This is all the footballing game, and
but if he's
part
not
of
back,
Carlos'
how
job.
devastated will we all be?
Because we understand how Carlos works now. We know. We asked him at the after the Arsenal game. We were at the little dinner soiree type thing, and we asked the question, and he told us it was subterfuge, wasn't it? And so we know that's what Carlos does. So if Messi doesn't turn up and Newcastle are utterly confused, brilliant, all the better. Absolutely fantastic. 100% behind whatever Carlos is doing until the end of the season. Right, then, ladies and gents, do any of you chaps and chapettes have any little bits? Before we actually do the little bits, Dan Fudge has just changed his picture on Skype to a rather scary.
It's amazing, isn't it?
That freaked me out so much. It just a bitch.
The pound, the hair, it's incredible, isn't it?
I'm actually going to take a picture of this right now. So if you would like to see this picture on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen, by all means, please do pop over there, and I shall tweet that pic. So as I was saying, does anybody have any little bits?
Just one thing from me, which is resurrecting the old tweet of the week. And this week's honour actually goes to our very own Victoria Wood. Which I think is the first time that this has happened. So this is a tweet from was it Saturday or was it Sunday? I can't remember, but it was off the back of Tom Pope's rather bizarre rant about Sam Winnall, and it goes along the lines of, "Wow, someone take Tom Pope's Twitter off him. He'll tweet a photo of a Ford KA soon and claim he sat on his phone. Very good, my dear, very good."
Thanks. Got 35 likes. That
35. Bloody hell, Victoria.
You've got like 5,500 followers.
I know, yeah, but normally I could tweet a photo of my foot and I get like 20 likes. So
fair point.
I feel like I'm going to pin this.
It is a lovely foot, Victoria, to be fair.
No.
I got told. Speaking of pinned tweets, by the way, I got told off by my mum. For some reason, my little brother showed my mum my Twitter account, and my pinned tweet was me trying to search for the shop Blacks in the town Reading, and I googled it, and what I got was a lot of black people reading. So I didn't really find what I was after, and my mum told me off. I got told off by my mum.
Too right. Bad Fudge. Naughty Fudge.
Isn't it? Listen, I've got one little bit, and my apologies for ending on a bit of a somber note, but this is a story I've been following quite closely. And are we all aware of the little Sunderland fella, Bradley Lowry?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, but he's not going to get any better. His mum's uploaded a blurb there saying that the treatment he's been having has not been very effective, and I don't think we've got long left to enjoy that little kid's smile. And I am a huge fan of the little boy, and the way Jermaine Defoe was taking him on board, and the way that the football community's got behind him, I applaud the lot of you. I really do, and I just hope that the time he's got left is spent keeping the smile on that boy's face.
I think, do you know what, when I read that tonight, and everyone knows that I'm a bit of a church bummer and whatever else, but I think that if there's anything that can come from tonight is that just everyone keeps him in their prayers, and just, even not if it's not a prayer, even if you just think about him, that's the main thing. Just ask for him to be okay. That's all you can do. And I think most of the football community will be going to bed tonight thinking of that little boy. So
absolutely. Right then, ladies and gents. So, Victoria, my darling, if people would like to get hold of you over there on the Twitteridge, where can we do that, my dear?
You can find me at Victoria1867, or I would say you could email me, vic@thewednesdayweek.co.uk. But I'm having the same issue that I lolled at you all for having this week with the SLL issues or server issues or whatever it is. So don't email me because I won't read it.
Would you anyway?
I've replied to 2. And I've received about 4, so 50-50 chance if I will or not.
Fudgy old Bean, if you want to find your nonsense over there on the Twitter page, where can we do that?
Yes, get me on Twitter at Dan Fudge. I'll be asking various Z-list celebrities if they can change the oil filter on a 1997 Sleeper and who their favourite Remember Little Mix is. I'm still doing that gag, which actually annualised last week. It went right back to my first one when I asked, I can't remember who the celebrity was now. I think it was Michael Gove. It was one of those. It was something like that. I said, who's your favourite Remember Little Mix? But yes, a year on, I'm still peddling the same gag. So find me at Dan Fudge on Twitter.
And James, if people would like to find you over there on Twitter, even though you've been rather naughty this week, playing the nasty little April Fool's joke on us all, haven't you, you little sod?
That wasn't me. That was, the Wednesday week's official news writer, who. All right, it was me, yeah. But I think there were 1.5 people that actually believed that. So that's not bad going, is it? You can find me on
Someone
Twitter.
at my work believed it.
Really?
Yeah, awkward.
One of my friends, who's a presenter on Hallam FM, also believed it. But he's a United fan, so we'll not talk about him.
Well, it's an idiot then,
on Twitter at James Wright. In fact, I've just tweeted now to get the debate going about whether or not people are on hashtag Team James or hashtag Team Fudge as we go into the last six games of the season. I also have a confession to make at this point because on Saturday I am breaking rank. And this will be the first and probably only time that it happens this season. But I won't be in the Riverside Cafe. I will instead, I'm going to a different pub. I'm going to the New Barrack Tavern, which I've not been to pre-game at all this season. Purely, I mean, one of the reasons I don't go there is because it's a lot longer to walk to the ground from there than it is to go from the Riverside Cafe, which is about 4 paces staggering distance. But because it's the 5:30 kickoff, I thought surely I only need to leave at 5:15 and get to the ground. So I'm actually going to be in the New Barrack Tavern before the game this Saturday. So if you're listening to this before the game and looking for somewhere to have a beer, I'll be in there.
Or come and hang with me and Dickie and the crew, actual crew, without James, in the Riverside Cafe, who sponsor us and pay our wages.
Have you got an entourage, Victoria, my darling, in the Riverside Cafe?
No, it's just me, my dad and Alistair in it. It's just... and Dickie and his kids, that's it. But we'll be there. We'll be rocking it up. So suit yourself, James.
But the thing is that the Riverside does have an outside bar. So there you go.
Now
of course...
Matches.
If you'd like to get all of me over there on the Twitter, you can do that at Lord H. That's L0RD_H. And get all the podcast at TWWcast. Get us on all the usual places as well, on the YouTubes, on the Facebooks, on the Twitter, and everywhere else you can think of, really. I would also like to put a little thank you out as well for all those lovely, lovely people that have been leaving us iTunes reviews as well. Again, I know I've been banging on about this a bit just recently, but I cannot tell you how wonderful and how much that helps us to get spread around. And if Victoria likes anything, it's to be spread around. So please do continue to give us a 5-star review. And if you could just pop a few little words on there, Victoria will thank you very, very much. It has been a pleasure, as always, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Be good, be safe, and we shall see you
I'm not saying it now, am I? You just slagged me off.
You've ruined the ending.
There's a chance here, a great save. A turner from McClare. Terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have 2 goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
Did you say in there that it's... What day did you say it was? Friday the 7th?
Today's Friday the 7th.
Today's Friday the 7th. 7th of April?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's my dad's birthday.
Oh. It's Daisy.
Well, that's the outtakes done.
Balls.
Bring him down.